Hi, this is Alan at alancousins.com. Today I'd like to talk to you about Facebook advertising, and I'd like to talk to you about something that I don't think a lot of people know about, especially in our niche, and that is newsfeed ads. Now, most of you are familiar, if you look here on this Facebook newsfeed, over on the right-hand side, you see that it says here, sponsored. Most of you are familiar with the fact that there are ads over here. And when I mention to most people about advertising on Facebook, that's what they think of, is these right-hand side ads. Now there's some folks here that use these right-hand ads all the time, and they are able to make them work. What I would say is it's not easy. It's not easy to make these ads work. It's very easy to get an ad up and running on here, provided that the subject matter provided that the subject matter of the ad is something that Facebook approves of. So the first barrier is getting it approved, and they're very inconsistent in the way that they approve ads, I've found. I'll get 6 or 7 ads in a row approved with nearly identical ad copy, and then all of a sudden I'll have one disapproved with almost the same copy. And the reason I'm given, is the same issue with the ones that are getting approved. So I think that just depends on who's looking at them, what kind of mood they're in, more than anything else. Now, these ads over on the right-hand side, like you can see, this person is this bright green border around here, and pretty much anywhere you look on this page, your eye's attention still is on that. There's a whole game to getting your ad clicked when it's over on the right-hand side here. Now, there's something that we call banner blindness, which is people are on certain sites and there's always banners or ads over in a certain portion of the site. They sort of get blind to them and they sort of start ignoring them. What I've found with these right-hand side Facebook ads is I tend to get a lot of clicks and not a whole lot of subscribers out of them. Now, some of that may just be, the way that my ad is written, and the sales funnel itself, and some of it's the targeting of the people. In other words, I could spend a lot more time and come up with very specific targets for these ads to show to and get a better result. But it was just more time than I wanted to spend. So what I decided to do was something called newsfeed ads. And if you don't know what the newsfeed is, it's basically this: when you log into Facebook and you see all these posts from all the people that you're connected to, everyone who makes a post, you see this big long line of posts from these people, right? Now, people on Facebook are not accustomed to seeing ads in these places, right? Now, this one here kind of looks like one of the ads that I run. Now, I don't know if this person actually placed an ad, or if she's just sharing a post from a fan page. But what you can do is, if you have a separate page from your personal account, like a fan page or a business page, community page, you can create what's called an unpublished page post. And you can actually use that unpublished page post as an ad in the newsfeed. And what I've found is the conversion rate is much, much higher. For one thing, I can put way more ad copy in a post. For another thing, it's right in the newsfeed. They're not missing it. Okay? So, they're not, when they look at their newsfeed, this is what they're accustomed to reading. So there's no banner blindness, right? Now they may see it and go, geez, that's an ad. Why is that in my newsfeed? And they may do a thumbs down or something like that. Can you do that? I guess you can't. They may leave a comment or something. But so that's the thing. And what I found is a lot of people don't know about these. And what happens is, like, if you go in and you try to, just here it says create advert. If you go in and you try to create an advert to put one there, you're going to have a very tough time. You're not going to be able to do it, really. because the way that Facebook is set up, they're set up to create these ads here over on the right hand side. And I spent like a whole day trying to figure this all out, and amazingly enough, there's not a whole lot of information about it out there. So basically what I found out is that in order to create a news feed ad, you have to use something called the Facebook Power Editor. Okay. Now, what the Power Editor is, and as I bring this over, let me just show you this. This is an example of one ad that I'm running right now, and this is an ad where I'm offering a free copy of my new ebook. And you can see here, right here, there's my logo, and that's basically the profile picture for the company page, the fan page, if you will. I don't know, people don't really call them fan pages anymore, but it's an additional page, right, on top of your personal account. And you know, they're super easy to make. They take like half a minute, right? So you can Google how to do that, how to make a Facebook fan page. I'm not going to spend time on that. But the ad is basically composed of a couple parts. One is the headline, and the headline comes from the name of the fan page. It automatically populates in there. Next is this section of text here. Next is the image. Next is the link text, and then link subheading, and then a description. Now what you're looking at here on the top, this can actually get pretty long. I'm not sure how long I can get. I've never maxed it out, but I've done, you know, 2 paragraphs this size above the image. At the bottom here, this is about all you're going to get. It's 3 lines of description. Once you go beyond that, it's going to cut off. Okay. So this ad will actually show right in the news feed. So when people log in, the first thing that opens up, this will be in their news feed. So it's really hard for them to miss. Okay. Now, it's kind of a pain to learn how to use the Power Editor right off the bat. And so I figured I could save you a bit of time here. Now, one of the things I do, because I can't, in the preview here, I can't copy this. I can't, like I'm clicking and dragging, I can't highlight any text, right? And same thing in Facebook. They'll now you see over here that I've just got the email, my advert's been approved as I'm talking about this. When I go into Facebook and I preview the ad, I also won't be able to copy it. So what I do is, as I create the ad, I just want to take like a text document and put, you know, advert name, URL, post text. Right? The post text is this section at the top here. Link headline is this. Link caption, this here, presented by AlanCousins.com, and description here is this area at the bottom. This way I've got kind of a format, and I can write these out ahead of time. And you could even, if you wanted, you could go to onlinecharactercount.com and you could plug in you know, your description, for example, and see how many characters it is. Like if you after you do a couple of these, you kind of have an idea about how long they can be. And you'll have some parameters for yourself of how long you can write it if you wanted to write out a whole bunch of ads ahead of time. But basically, within the Power Editor, it looks very complex. There's all these buttons and gadgets and things like that. And what you got to do is you got to have Google Chrome. That's the first thing. So that's the first thing. If you don't know, you're going to have a huge problem. Because the Facebook Power Editor is an application that runs in Google Chrome only. So get yourself Google Chrome, and then you can just Google Power Editor. Click the link, and it'll ask you to log into Facebook. And what it'll do is it'll automatically import all the ad campaigns you have in Facebook right now. Now, you may not have any right now, in which case there's not going to be anything there, and you'll just have blank, right? So let's go through some of the things that would be good for you to know, which will save you a bunch of time. This is basically a 2-step process. One, is creating a campaign. Now, you see here in this blue button, campaigns, and you see right next to it, adverts. You're just going back and forth between these two, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to create an ad, a new campaign and an ad, and it's going to be like the exact same ad I just showed you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick different targets for my ads to show to, and then over the course of the next day or two I'm going to track to see which targets work better, and I'm going to get rid of the ad, the campaign that doesn't produce as well, and I'm going to keep the one that produces better, and then I'm going to add another one with different targets, and I'm just going to keep doing that until the performance is as good as it can get. Okay. The first thing, so now if you look over here, you'll see I've got 2 campaigns. Now I've had way more than 2 campaigns, but what happens is anytime I have an ad that's not performing the way I think it should, I just delete the whole campaign. Okay. Now in Facebook, let's see if I can find this. In Facebook, you can have multiple ads within one campaign. Okay. So here what you're looking at is you see campaigns and adverts, all adverts. I've got 2 campaigns. Each of these campaigns right now has 1 ad within them. So I've got 2 campaigns, 2 ads. I could have 1 campaign with 50 ads in it if I wanted. The problem is that Facebook only shows you statistics per campaign. So if I have 1 campaign and underneath that campaign I have multiple ads, all the numbers, the reach, this has just been approved just a moment ago, so it's all zeros here, but the total spent, the average price, the click-through rate, the clicks, and all that is going to be shown per campaign, not for each individual ad, and it's impossible to measure each individual ad's performance. So what you want to do is every time you create a new ad, create a different campaign. Facebook probably wouldn't recommend that, but I've just found after trial and error and going, where are these people coming from? I don't understand. I can't see each individual ad. If there's a way to see the stats on each individual ad in here, I'm too stupid to find it, and I don't consider myself to be that stupid. So anyway, the solution I came up with was just create a new campaign for every ad. So what will happen is if an ad's not performing the way I want it to, I'll just delete the whole campaign and start over. Okay. So even though I'm creating adverts, even though I'm going to create the same exact ad, I'm going to use a different campaign. So this is basically how you start. You're going to Google Power Editor, click on it, put your Facebook login in. The thing will open up in Chrome. It'll automatically connect to Facebook once you put your login information in, and it'll download all your ad campaign stuff. You see, it's basically the same information. And all this allows you to do basically is create an ad, and then when you're done, you click upload, and it automatically uploads it to your Facebook account. Okay. So, but the first thing you need to do is just click here where it says campaigns, literally, and then create campaign. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one, and what I'm going to do is, whoops, let me back up here. Okay, for some reason it opened up one of the campaigns I already had, and then I edited the name, and I didn't want to change the name. So anyway, here we've got a new campaign I just created.